doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Thanks again for your time.
Don't worry about it. Oh, what happened this early season, Beast?
It's a bit tough, man. It's a bit tough. If
Yeah.
you keep scrolling down, you're gonna see an 11 game loss streak. But
11
just to get
games
into the
to...
new splits, yeah, it was a bit unfortunate.
So you lost
But
like 5 placements into 6 more losses?
yeah, pretty much.
Oh
So I
my
like started the
goodness.
season like 50 games Emerald, like Jesus Christ. But it happens.
Ay, ay, ay. Wait, but your MMR was 600 LP, but then you get put in Emerald games?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's just early season. Like a lot of the people in these games are also like 700 LP Masters, I think, last season. Even then, I still get like D1, T2. It's like, holy shit. Super tilting.
That's an ugly. Uh,
Describes my games, yeah.
uh, and why do you think this happened? Do you think it was just like a mix of unlucky and tilt, or like being a bit
Yeah,
rusty? Or...
I mean, it's easy to look at like the majority of these games and see that ace tag and be like, oh yeah, my team sucks. But I
Mm-hmm.
also think I'm like not as focused.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so it's like early season, like I'm just spamming all these games. Like I'm playing constantly. I think the first usually 4 or 5 games I play in a day, I'm like locked in. But
Mm-hmm.
then since I'm spamming, the quality just goes down. So kind of just negative feedback loop.
Mm. I see, I see. Have you thought about having a second account? That's what I like to do. Like have one tryout account and then one more like chill account so that I can still play a lot of games, but maybe I'll play only like 4 or 5 games max on my main tryout account. And once I feel like I'm starting to play a little bit worse or I'm starting to get a bit more emotional, like if I lose 2, 3 games in a row, I stop playing on that account.
Uh, yeah, I keep telling myself I'm gonna do that, and I have an account, but I don't know. I just haven't put in the effort to climb on that account. I feel like I'm too lazy. I'd rather just
Mm.
play on my main. But I need to do that. I think there's value in it.
Mm. And what do you feel like? What's your goal right now with League? What are you trying to
Yeah, so
achieve?
my goal right now, I play for an org,
Mm-hmm.
but I like barely peaked above 600, and most of the leagues are separated by 600 LP and NA.
Oh.
So it's like if I want to keep competing, then I definitely need to like improve a lot so I can actually stack up to the like leagues that are uncapped LP wise.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had to like put a number to it, I mean like 1K LP is what I'm aiming for. I don't know how long that'd take me. It'd probably take me some time and a lot of effort, but I'd say
Mm-hmm.
that's next on my chopping block.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good. I mean, the difference between 600 LP and 1K LP, in my opinion, a lot of time is just a lot of small things that kind of add up
Mm,
and a lot of consistency. Like if you watch a guy that's like Grandmaster versus a guy that's 1K LP, a lot of time, if you only watch one of their games, then you can have the impression that, they play the same. But if you watch 10 of their games, you're gonna, like, the differences will add up quickly.
okay.
That's what I really noticed. Because, like, for example, like, if your support isn't up to the standard that you want one game, maybe if you're a 1K LP player, you can understand, like, okay, I need to, play a bit safer here, don't get dove here. And
Hmm.
while if, for example, if you have a really good support, like let's say you have a pro player support, like Core JJ, I guess on NA you could have, right? And if he's mega smurfing the lane for you, regardless if you're 600 LP or 1.1 KLP, it's gonna look pretty similar, like
Yeah,
as long as
makes
you're not
sense.
throwing your lead. But it's about kind of being able to adapt to all the things that Soloki throws at you, where your jungler doesn't cover you when you need to cover, or your support is just running in level 1, and like, do you trade with them? Do you not? Like all of these kind of random things that happen that I think like makes people able to really climb higher or kind of stuck. Do you have
No,
any
makes sense.
preference on which game to start with?
Mm, I'd say the Ash game. I
Sure.
think these both of these games are in my placements, so they're like seeded against GM some Chow as well.
Holy shit. You play with this much white? Like this bright?
Yeah, I get flamed for it pretty hard, but it helps me focus.
Oh
Like it
my
a lot.
god. Actually, I had a mid laner. Swiru, maybe you know him, played in LEC.
Hmm.
He
Yeah,
plays exactly like this, and everybody always makes fun of him when he like posts clips on Twitter that he's like
yeah,
flashbang and everything.
yeah.
Uh,
Especially playing in comp now. My teammates flame me permanently for it, but I swear by it. It helps me focus.
yeah.
I swear.
Uh, this looks interesting. Level 1. So, I mean, okay, before just one thing that you can think about. So here you ended up moving fully, right? But something
Yeah,
I would think about here is when you see, okay, so your Jarvan's practically dead. Like, he can't really fight anymore, right? And your Darius is going to be
yeah.
practically dead as well. I think moving here and trying to fight, it's going to be very unlikely that something good will happen. I think maybe you guys will poke them a bit, but in
Mm,
my head, unless someone individually face checks you and the Senna, it's going to be bad, which it might happen. I'm not sure. But something you can think about doing instead that can be a really good cheese is you go really deep in enemy jungle and bot side and wait in one of these 2 bushes or here.
mm.
Like one of these 3
Okay,
bushes, and you can easily find a kill or a huge chunk that like makes the lane really, really easy.
gotcha.
And
Okay, because I was just gonna say my mindset here was like, if I'm Ashe Senna level 1,
yeah,
like
you
there's no
guys
point
are
having
super
a lot of
strong,
recall on
right?
it.
But I
But
think
that's just a different way to utilize that. It's just going deep into
yeah,
jungle, right?
and it's just also like you guys are strong, but 3v5 strong? I don't know. Maybe
I think it
if they
works
face
out
check you
actually, to be honest.
one by one, yeah. Like that's
Yeah.
what I mean. Like if they don't face check you, if they actually face check you as a group, I think this is bad. But they're not expecting it, so it ends up being good because you have barrier as well. Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, so it ends up being good, but this play is a bit more risky because your teammates already like ideally you would always do this, but I just meant like as an adaptation because Jarvan had to
Mm.
base and then Darius had to base, um, and you should base here. You should base here for sure.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way I don't base, but my mindset as well was like, holy fuck, I'm in this crazy lobby, and this good boy guy like actually bodies me every game. I'm like, I'm just gonna listen to what he does and see how it goes. So he
Okay,
pings me, and I'm like, okay, shit, I'm the sheep now.
yeah. Well, he's really dumb. Anyways, it takes like if you were to recall and walk from here to bot, right, versus walking here now, it's like you're losing legit only like 10 seconds to be
Mm.
back to full HP. Like you're gonna lane at 270 HP. I want to see how you lane this. Okay, the Jin doesn't want to do anything. I know he's 1v2, but like he should be trading. He should
Yeah,
be trading with Senna, and if Senna clicks back, then he should be pressuring you. He knows the enemy team should have pinged the fact that you guys have no heal and barrier. So he shouldn't be playing like this. God damn, what an NPC. Well, anyways, you know you should have based, so that's good.
yep.
And you're lucky that Jin doesn't want to really like punish it hard. Good sidestep on the W. Nice. Oh no, we walk into the Jin queue.
Yeah.
I think here you're being a bit baited. You're tunneling too much
Mm.
on following your support.
Okay.
Where it's like, okay, let's think here. Is there any real world that I'm following the Senna here? Like, even if she starts trading with the Jin, you're never going to reach the Jin, even if you click straight down. And you're never going to reach the Vel'Koz. And most likely the Senna's going to trade with the Vel'Koz. So you should be, like, I don't want you clicking here. I
Yeah.
want you to stay here and to just hit these minions, try to get level 2 as fast as possible. You can lifesteal a bit with D-Blade to just keep hitting. And also getting push in this lane is really important. But now, because we kind of tried to follow this Senna engage, it ends up being that we take Jin Q into Jin W, and then he can actually kill us.
Makes sense. Okay.
And of course, the biggest reason this comes from is the fact that we didn't base and we walked the lane.
Yeah.
But it's also just we're a bit too tunnel visioned and we're not focusing on the right thing. Like, what you should focus on here is like, okay, the lane is in a shitty state. How can I fix this state? The way you fix
Mm.
it is by getting level 2 before Vel'Koz gets level 2. And then you play for push and start, once you get the push, the lane becomes a lot easier because then Vel'Koz can't fire Qs, Jin can't get Qs on you. and you and Senna can poke, and maybe you can get an HP lead. Can't get an HP lead, you crash the wave in your recall. But especially in these double range matchups, push most important. So while Senna is doing this trading shenanigans, you should try to think of that as like an opportunity for you to try to get push.
Okay. That makes sense. So it's because I'm not focusing on like just getting push in the first place that I'm like letting myself get baited by my support trading.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
this for me looks fine here that you're not pushing before Vel'Koz is here. Because I hope you're thinking that it's like good to try to not give Vel'Koz some XP. But then once the Vel'Koz is here and Jhin gives you range to auto, you should just be like after this point, I'd be thinking to myself, okay, we want to push these creeps as fast as possible, try to push next wave as fast as possible, and in an ideal world, you just get the recall for Cull, I think, because that's like if you get to get a free recall when you walk to lane with 300 HP, that's crazy good.
Okay.
Let's see here. Now you come back. I mean, now the lane is in like but this is kind of what I mean with like it's okay, I guess. I was thinking how bad it was that Senna really wanted to push this, but I think it's okay. It would slow push really fast anyways, because you had 3 casters.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. I hope you base for Cull here. Nay.
Do you see when I go for a deep ward and then
I mean, going for the deep ward is fine, but you shouldn't deep ward red buff because red buff's already been taken, right? So the next camps that are gonna spawn, like your ward will expire before the next red buff will spawn. So that's kind of useless. You should instead ward Krugs or Raptors. And Raptors is way too far, so you should just ward Krugs. But in general, you never want to like ward red or blue buff after like 3 minutes when junglers have done their full clear, because then it's like, you know, it's not gonna last until the next buff spawns. But yeah, I don't like this roam. I think you should just base for Cull. Cull is like a good component. Helps you. I think Cull is especially good in these sort of game states where you're kind of behind, because it allows you to actually, you know, print gold for free a little bit.
Okay.
And it's like, I would understand this. Like, if your team is fighting here, I like that you're moving. But they're fighting like here, you know? It's like crazy to me that you were even close to getting like the fact that this was close to you being able to get involved because Yon chased all the way down into river, it's crazy to me. Because this Yon is stupid. He should use his brain and realize, okay, my jungler full clear to top and fought the Darius on Crab and Jarvan wasn't there. Where does Jarvan have to be? Bot side, right? And he still EQs into river bot side.
Yeah.
So
it's the NA talent, baby.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, they didn't even need you, so it ends up being pretty wasted. And now you could have come back to base with a Cull, but instead, we're just sitting on a refillable. And it's also nice to get a Cull on these types of plays, or like these types of waves, because you come back to a big wave to start like stacking your Cull already, you know? Like this would be what, 11, 12 minions for your Cull? Oh, Senna. Oh, Senna. Senna. Stinky spacing here. This is like, I mean, even this is like not so good, I think, but we need to like play more max range. Because we're playing Ashe, but we're like, our range is like to here. Ignore this part of the circle, but it's like to here, right? But we're going really, really close. And now, even now, we go even closer instead of clicking back. We click up and down instead of clicking backwards to try to, because how you want to play Jhin into Ashe is you want to play like mega max range Ashe until you get a few free autos, and then you can start to run them down. But you don't want to like auto him at his range from the start, especially not when he has 4 caster minions. Like that trade from Senna is always going to be mega bad because they just have too many minions. So here, like, I hate what Senna's doing. It's super bad. And I think you shouldn't get baited into trying to even trade with her. You should just shoot your W and click back and kill this melee minion and just like slowly try to thin the wave down as much as you can.
Okay. Because we see the Jarvan on Krugs.
Yeah.
We don't see Gwen yet when I go for this trade, so my mindset is like, if I walk into Jin range, I still have both my sums. I know he flashed earlier. Like, I can just bait him into fighting me so Jarvan can clean up, but that was before we saw Gwen on Krugs as well.
I think it's decent, but then it's still better. Like, at least the execution can always be a lot better if you're playing max range here. Because then what you can do, if you space the Jin and you play max range, you can kind of bait him to walking up. Because what will happen, it'll happen 100 out of 100 times, you auto the Jin, and Jin will, like, emotionally want to auto attack you back. So if you click back, you, like, bait him to walk further up. While if you just fight him in his range now, like, why does the Jin even need to walk further up? He could just, like, fourth shot you now and run back, and then you can't chase him anymore. While if you were actually spacing him, not letting him auto, then it's much, much harder for him to have any counterplay.
Okay.
Because even if Gwen wasn't here now, I don't think Jarvan can gank this. Maybe he can kill Vel'Koz, but he definitely can't do anything. Like, you didn't touch the Vel'Koz, right? We just did 2 autos on the Jin. I don't think he can kill the Jin.
Okay.
Now we're in tricky position once again. Good sidestep. How come you don't go E point level 2? Was it just this game, or do you always do it like this?
I usually go E level 3, but I think it's because we had vision on Gwen pretty much the whole time. I'm like, I'll just get an extra point in W. I won't need it until level 4 if I even use it, so.
Let's see here. This was good. Good sidestep on the Vel'Koz E. And then nice. I mean, you didn't sidestep the Jin W, but you clicked with intent to do so, so it was nice. Nice. I don't think you guys
into this one.
I don't think you guys can kill him as barrier.
Got a little bit of blood in my eyes on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's too worth. I think it's better to just chunk him and push the wave in. And then if he stays, he's gonna get dove by Jarvan.
So in this moment, like if I'm more mindful of the map state, I should see Jarvan's spot in that.
Yeah, it's good to see. I mean, Jarvan's pinging, right? So Jarvan's pinging on his way. But it's also just, in general, I think it's always better to fix your wave state rather than trading 1-for-1. It's just like, it increases your agency so much in the game. Because now what's going to happen, right, is your wave is shit. You're going to lose more farm. Yes, you got kills, but you're going to be level 4. Your support is level 5. And it also, what it also does is kind of like, your mid laner is level 7. An enemy mid lane will also be much higher level than you. So your actual agency in the game gets decreased because you spend 1 minute nearly not farming, right? Because you were chasing the Jin into dying, into running back to lane. It's like nearly 1 minute. So it's better for you if both ADCs farm than if both ADCs don't farm. Because if both ADCs farm, it means that you're getting ahead and the enemy ADC is getting ahead, right? But if you want to have the highest impact in the game, like if you believe you're the best player out of the 10 players in the game, you would want to be the strongest person in the game, even if that means that the enemy ADC is the strongest as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. And maybe this is a good question for after the game, but I definitely feel like in games that are scrappy like this one, like this is a bit of a fiesta.
Yeah.
I always feel like I have a lot less agency, and it's because I'm not taking the time to like,
yeah, I mean,
farm up the way other lanes are.
I think you need to like slow it down. Like when the game becomes scrappy like this, you need to like this was a great opportunity after you killed the Vel'Koz to slow the game down, in my opinion. If you don't like, I would just say fuck it. Like I would decide. I think right now I would decide. I don't think I'm going to kill this Jin, and I would click back. I don't think it's even worth trying to burn his barrier. To be honest, I mean, I think this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. To be honest, it's all fine. Burning the barrier, I like it. I changed. Take it back. It didn't take that long for you guys to do it. I like the burning the barrier, and then you just hard push the wave, and then you push next wave and then recall, right? And then you end up getting to like 40 CS at 6 minutes. It's more like fine. You get a quite a bit better recall. Like you'll have. Wait, why didn't you go Berserker Greaves?
So this was like first game of new split, right? And I'm like, they mega nerfed boots, so I'm like, maybe it's better to just buy components. I'm kind of just feeling it out. But like previous patch, I would have always bought Berserkers. Do you think it's
Yeah.
still good this patch?
I think on Ashe it's still Berserkers. Yeah, it's just like
Yeah,
such a good item on her. But I
that
see
makes
your
sense.
logic. I don't mind the logic. But I
Mm,
think the components you bought are pretty trash as well.
that's
It's not
true.
like if you got a BF sword, like of course Ashe doesn't go BF sword, right? But if you were playing a BF sword champ, I would get it. But you
Mm,
bought a 775 Rectrix for like 1580, which is kind of like, hmm, you know, I'm not sure. It's probably fine. But yeah, because now I think the game will keep looking quite chaotic, and I would still look for another. Oh, we're playing too much to like try to set up our team. I think it was the same
okay.
when the Senna wanted to go in. I mean, I think just you're maybe listening too much to your team and not using your
Mm,
own brain to determine what is good and bad. Like, look at your teammate's position here. What are you gonna like?
yeah, I'm like walking up to auto. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can. I like that you're sniffing for this Vel'Koz, but we can't do it like this. You know, we can't just run in
Mm,
1v2 insta and they have 3 caster minions. Uh, like this. Like at least if you're gonna auto the Vel'Koz, I want you to auto max range and then click back. You're clicking like straight forward.
yeah.
Fucking crazy. Because now our lane is like mega fucked. Again, we just came back from base and we're already 300 HP.
Mm,
Although we do get the biscuit, the potion, the Senna heal, we got everything. So it ends up being more okay. But like I think this is a mistake you've made now a few times where you're trying to like set up a play or listen to your teammates or follow them too hard
mm,
and you're ignoring kind of like in my opinion a good way to think about League is there's kind of like fundamental rules that applies every game. Like
yeah.
trading 1v2 is usually always bad. Getting hit by enemy CC is always bad. So if you try to like always follow that, like let's say, okay, I'm gonna try to set up a play for my team here, but I'm not gonna get hit by Vel'Koz. That's my number one priority. So I'm gonna play like max
Okay.
range, click back, be ready to dodge it, all that stuff, you know? And if
Mm,
you follow those kinda, you'll find that the results will be much more predictable and consistent.
that makes sense. So like earlier when I walk up to Vel'Koz, my only plan right there is like set up for my team, right? But
Yeah,
it's
it's
like I'm
just
trying
like,
to be set up for
okay,
my team while dodging the Vel'Koz CC,
yeah, I feel
basically.
like right here you're
Okay.
just thinking, okay, Jarvan and Sana wants to go, we fucking go, I'm going in. And then you're like, oh
Yeah.
shit, what the fuck, we can't go. Well,
Hmm.
I'd want it to more be like, okay, we want to go on them. What's their counterplay? Vel'Koz wants to CC me. Jin
Hmm.
doesn't have W. Okay, that's good to know. But Vel'Koz still has all spells apart from Q. If he has Q, I would want you to try to dodge that as well, right? Like juke it. Uh,
Hmm.
and a good way is like you're kind of like walking back and forth because you're trying to bait out the spell's max range. And then once they use the spells, that's when you go on like rundown mode and start auto
Yeah.
attacking.
Yeah. So it's like I only have step one of the plan, which is like kind of set up for my team, but they don't have step two of like dodge their shit or like what is my limit for like setting up for my team.
Yeah.
And I think Ash is one of the champions I do struggle on a bit, where I feel like post 15 minutes Ash, I do no damage, I'm useless.
Mm,
So when I do play Ash, I'm way more desperate, and I think that's why I'm like making
mm,
like all these crazy plays early, is because I feel like if I don't make the plays right now, I'm a useless champion.
mm. Do you think like Jin, for example, outscales you hard?
I think so, honestly. Because I feel like Ash is like
I mean, I'd say he
okay,
outscales, but I wouldn't say he outscales hard.
okay.
Like, it's not like you're playing, I don't know, into Jinx, for example, or into
Hmm.
Zeri, where it's like, I feel like if Zeri and Ashe both have 2 items or 3 items, or Jinx, it's like, it's gonna be hard for the Ashe to do more unless she gets a crazy arrow or the Jinx gets one shot by something.
Hmm.
Why do you recall here instead of pushing this?
I feel like I don't have enough mana, and then I wasn't sure if Vel'Koz was just off of a reset. It's like I know this guy can just harass me off the tower, and I want to reset with all this gold. So
Would you push
also, I
this
know the
if
cannon waves are a bit
Vel'Koz
selfish.
wasn't here?
I honestly think I would still look for a reset.
Yeah, that's good. Good answer. Because if you
I
push
think wave state
this,
is OP. Yeah.
what will happen is Jin will not lose that many minions because it's cannon, and then Jin will hard push next wave, and you lose 6 to 5 minions of the next wave.
Mm.
Because it takes you so long to push the cannon. Maybe your base even gets cancelled. If your base gets cancelled, it's full GG. But even if your base doesn't get cancelled, you usually lose 5 to 6 minutes of the next wave.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think watching that clip back, I was like, wow, why am I staying so long here?
Mm.
Reset. Even like I hit the wave a couple times.
Yeah, you hit the
Stayed
wave
a bit.
once. You could have recalled faster, but
Yeah.
I'm happy that you, like, some people, they'll make the mistake of, like, they hit the wave once and then they're like, oh shit, I have to actually push it now. And it's like, it doesn't
Yeah,
quite work, it doesn't
exactly.
quite work like that. You can still recall.
Yeah. So that's one instance, and I have it's a very general question, but like when the game is monkey, my brain goes kind of monkey. But like
Oh.
that felt like my brain defaulted to monkey mode, where I'm like, hey, push this wave, and then I was like,
Mm.
wait a minute, okay, like kind of return to center for a bit. So
Yeah.
like, what what can I think about in Fiesta games like this that's gonna keep me like focused on the right plays rather than just monkey mode for my team?
Mm. That's a good question. I think it's good to think about, like, what are the win cons of the game,
Okay.
and also like of your champ. You know, like what do you want the what's good Ash gameplay look like? Like for me, I'm thinking this game. Okay, I want to try to kind of get back to the baseline of 10 CS per minute, which means I need to play
Hmm.
really disciplined around waves, right? Uh,
Yeah.
and I wanna like try to catch kind of back up on the game state in terms of economy. So I just want to play for resources and be really greedy. Ooh, taking tower aggro here.
Take aggro there. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I don't like this. You should just run.
Yeah.
Uh, you can also see that Jin is moving towards you
Mm.
on mid lane. But even if Jin isn't moving here, realistically, what are you gonna achieve staying here? That should be the question. Like right now, I would just you don't need to know where anybody is on the map. You just ask yourself, can I push this next wave? Or can I save
Okay.
Jarvan? Those are the two questions you need to ask yourself. And the answer to both,
Mm.
I think, is pretty obviously no. I don't think you can save this Jarvan ever. Unless you have like magic. Maybe if you're the Tom Kench, you can save him, but um right, this Jarvan 100% dead. And then the question is, can you take next wave? I'd say 99% no, because Tom Kench is just gonna kill the Jarvan and then not let you take the
Yeah.
wave.
I guess for me it was more of like a okay, like Tam will kill Jarvan, I can get this plate and go, but the plate's not even worth it there.
Yeah. I don't think the plate
Yeah.
never take, like, a good rule of thumb to kind of have is never take the plate if you
Uh-huh.
can't take the wave.
Okay.
Because if you take the plate but you can't take the wave, then Tom Kench will just hard push to the next wave and then you lose 6 minutes for a plate, aka
Hmm.
you lost a tiny bit of gold and you lost a lot of XP.
Gotcha. So like a wave in my head, like I used to never play for plates, so I have in my head like okay, plates are important, but waves a little bit more important than plates.
Yeah, we like one wave is like 140 gold, I think, something like that. So it's a little bit more than a plate, but the most important thing is experience, right? Like plates give no XP and
Yeah,
waves
yeah,
give so much. So if you like trade a plate for a wave, it's just if the actual difference was only 15 gold, it wouldn't be that big of a difference. I wouldn't care. But because
yeah.
you lose so much experience, like, I don't know, the easiest example of this is when you play as a fed ADC and then you go against their top laner that's not fed, but he's like 2 or 3 levels up on you and he still wins the 1v1. Like, of course, also their
Hmm.
champion classes are meant to be better in 1v1, but base stats and levels are so important in League. Like, they make you so
Yeah,
much stronger. And that's
that
also
makes
why, for
sense. It's
example, a lot of the time you can maybe have games like this, which is really Fiesta, where you even do end up getting like 4-0 or 3-0, but you lose a lot of minion waves and you feel kind of useless.
yep.
Yeah, let's assess this here. What happened here? Senna stops tanking too early, and that's her bad. Then you don't walk out of tower range when you should have.
Yeah.
Because you could walk out of tower range
I
instead of doing this auto. And
mhm.
because like how you should play it, I think, to be honest, the easy way to play it, it's just like this is good, this is good. Now we'll just focus on walking out. And
Okay.
then we wait until the tower is like not heated anymore, right? Like it doesn't do insane damage per shot. And then you can redive with barrier. And maybe even wait to get level 8. You could kill 2 minions, get level 8, and then redive them. But
Gotcha.
with
Okay.
these sorts of dives, usually the worst way it can go is if you try to rush it. If you play it
Hmm.
slow, usually the outcome will always be good. Because, like, let's say you dodged this Jin W and you left the tower now, you know? Like, how easy is this to redive? It's so easy.
Yeah.
If you get a chunk into diving, it's just so much easier rather than trying to, like, full dive someone on one cycle. Because that's when the towers are OP. When the towers are doing 500 gold per 500 damage per shot, like, holy shit, that's an OP tower. But when the tower is doing 200 damage, it's like, you know, it's whatever. Oh, Senna. Oh, he one-shots him. Because here as well, this is another, like, opportunity where we have a play that can be really clean if we, like, play it more slow and chill. If we don't want to tunnel vision too much on killing Jin instantly, and we end up just killing him and not dying, then we would get this full bot tower, we would get this next wave. Maybe we wouldn't get full bot tower because Vel'Koz is moving. Probably would get full bot tower because Jarvan is here, and you guys would kill the Vel'Koz. But anyways, it's like another big opportunity missed where you can kind of actually make a real lead happen. But we're kind of tunnel visioning a bit too much on playing for kills, and also playing a bit too rushed, I'd say. Maybe that monkey mode brain action.
Yeah.
That caused some bad decision making.
Definitely makes sense.
Two things here.
Yeah, I don't know if this flash is good.
No, this flash is bad, but also we, again, making the same mistake. We just think about killing Vel'Koz. We don't think about Vel'Koz spell at all. Like, the Vel'Koz Q is right here, but where are we clicking? We're not clicking to dodge it. But the thing is, it's not, you're not clicking to dodge it, or you're not clicking to dodge it because you don't have the mechanics to do so. I think you do, like, but you're not thinking about it. And we need to think more about, okay, if we're chasing someone or if we want to kill someone, what do they want to do? Okay, so for example here, Jarvan has ulti, right? If Jarvan ults the Vel'Koz, the only way he can escape is flashing, right? Otherwise he's dead.
Yeah.
So the only way I would ever flash here is if Vel'Koz flash out of Jarvan ult, and that's the only way we can kill him. If I flash, I would never flash before Jarvan ults. And if my Jarvan doesn't want to ult, then I don't want to flash. If my Jarvan doesn't think it's worth it to ult to kill him, why the fuck would I flash to kill him? You know? Like, flash is 10 times more useful than Jarvan ult. Or, like, longer cooldown and more important, right?
Yeah.
So, I think those two are, like, it's a habit that I think if you work on it, it'll make a really big difference, where you're trying more to think about what is the counterplay of enemy and how do they want to play, and how can I, like, approach this fight in an intelligent way so that I don't just get hit by these skill shots insta running in. Because I think when you're actually fighting, I think you have, like, your brain more on that you need to, like, dodge stuff and do all that stuff. But it's like when you're running into a fight, it's like you're just thinking about getting there as soon as possible.
Yeah. That makes sense. And I've made other plays like that too, where it's like, I have a plan, but I don't adjust my plan based on what the enemy can do about it. It's like, I'm only thinking about what I can do.
Yeah. Okay, good. You go mid here.
I think I fucking turned my brain off this fight, honest. I don't know what I'm doing.
I mean, I think you didn't, like, you kind of forgot about Yon.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, it's good if you, like, something you could look for here is you chunk the guy that's TPing. But because it's Yon, I was gonna say you can't really do that because he's too scary. But we also need to then respect his flank, you know? So it's like, already now, I would want you to be, like, walking here, you know? Because what should happen is that Yon is, like, going in here, and you can auto-attack him from a safe space to try to, like, kind of help your team that way. But now, you're actually, like, pretty much the same line as your front line. Like, nearly as far up as them. So the flank from Yon is just so fucking easy.
Yeah, and it's like I watch him TP too. Like I literally put my fucking camera on it, and then I still walk up to like
Yeah.
auto range when I could just walk away W. Like it's
Mm.
I think it's just managing the monkey brain symptoms at this point.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that is like focus, to be honest.
Yeah.
So for me, what can help me is just kind of like really thinking about, okay, I'm gonna refocus here. We can win, you know, I can carry all that stuff, reminding myself that the game is still winnable. And what I
Mhm.
find that if I still can't focus after trying to fully refocus, then I take a break after that game. That's like my sign. If I can't focus,
Okay.
that means I probably shouldn't play another game. Because if I feel like if I play a game and I know for a fact I'm playing way worse than I normally do because I just actually can't like concentrate on all the things that are in the game that I normally would be able to concentrate on, that's my
Hmm.
cue that I need to like stop playing for right now. Because that can happen because maybe you're like emotional because someone inted, or like just because you lost focus and then you weren't really able to regain it. It can be many reasons, or maybe you're just tired. But for me, it's a good sign of like knowing when to kind of stop. And that could be a good sign of like going on the second account, for example.
Yeah.
So it looks pretty normal, just mid wave, and then Tom can just mid. Fucking bastard. I think Tom Cash is OP. But this guy isn't going hard still. Oh shit, what happened here? We got hit by Tom
Nice.
Kench Q. Into oi, into oi, into oi, 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 oi. Oi. I mean, like this. I mean, again, you're like walking at the Tom without
Hmm.
thinking what the Tom do, you know?
Yeah.
Like, instead of clicking on Tom Kench, I want you to be clicking here and here and trying to think about spacing the Tom Q max range, get him to use it, and then you can start thinking about auto attacking him. But we don't
Yeah.
think about like auto attacking Tom Kench before he's used his spell. Because if we get hit by the Tom Q, like even if the Jin W and the even if you don't die here, just hypothetically, if you do an auto attack to Tom Kench and he does a Q, okay, you did 50 damage and he heals that back and he does 272 to you. How's that
Yeah.
fucking worth?
Damn.
So we don't want to trade like that. We want to wait out their spell by like playing max range and kind of baiting it, and then
Hmm.
we can look to go forward. And especially when you play Ashe, that's all about like running people down. You need to really wait for that like condition to happen of when you can run them down. Because
That makes sense.
if Ashe was so OP, you could always run them down no matter what. Everybody would play it, right? But you still need them to waste their spells so that you can actually, you know, engage on them without being under a lot of threat.
Yeah, that's good to think about.
Hmm. Yeah, so you guys lose mid tower, you come back. Bit of an ARAM type of game. You get the mid wave from top side, good. Get red buff. No, Senna takes it. Nice, that's fine. Ooh, I don't know about this mid wave. I mean, Senna is a criminal, right? She's taking mid wave from the middle, which is really bad. But I think you should also be a bit. I think you should be more here, and you should use
Okay.
your blue trinket here, or use it somewhere that gives you
Hmm.
safety. Because I think you're standing kind of here because you're not fully sure that nobody can be here. So if so, like it's always worth to use your blue trinket to secure the mid wave.
Hmm.
Because if you're now taking this mid wave from here, I would feel like you're much, much safer, you know?
For sure.
Um,
Yeah.
and also, I think you could still be a lot safer, but you're clicking, like you should be clicking up here. This
Hmm.
is the safe spot, but you're clicking towards your Senna. It ends up being fine, right? Because they just kill the Senna and they don't kill you. Or maybe they do kill you as well, actually.
I think I'm good. Mm,
You look kind of dead.
yeah, a little bit. I don't remember how this goes.
Oh, maybe you're fine, yeah.
Here, yeah.
Yeah.
But I have to burn ult for it. And
Mm. Yeah, I mean, Senna's trolling, like, never do what the Senna did there with taking the mid wave in the middle. That's the
Mhm.
easiest way to die because you can get flanked by both sides. You always want to have one side to hover to, get vision on that side, use your blue trinkets, use your ashes, use your pink wards, whatever you can, ping your support toward it. Because that's how you can always like get mid wave, at least in the middle, if you're not too weak in the game, is by having one side to play to, and then you play hard on that side.
Yeah.
How did this mid wave end up so fucked? It's a bit awkward here. I was thinking if you should go top or something, but it's not really intuitive to go top. Okay, so this better example here, where I feel like you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna dodge the Vel'Koz Q, gonna dodge the Vel'Koz E. See? So much easier. Now imagine if the Jhin wasn't there, you just fucking killed. I mean, we kind of lost it right after though.
Yeah. Like I could flash here. I don't know why I don't.
Oh, we
I
flashed
flashed
there.
like late. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, I think I live here though. I think I actually live though.
Yeah, but this is not how you win games in League, I'm afraid.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think it's like this was all good and nice, but I mean, it's kind of hard. It's a good Jhin W, to be honest.
It's like here I thought I was out, so I'm like, I don't need to flash. And
You thought you wouldn't need the flash here? That's crazy.
I thought I was out. Yeah, I don't know why. I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, if Jhin hits his ults like that, then yeah. I mean, that one is just mechanical. Just need to not get hit by the Jhin W, I think, and
Yeah, pretty much.
I think either dying there or flashing faster. I mean, flashing to live like that is kind of like... Because if you flash there and you can turn it into a fight with Jarvan, then it can be really good, right? But flashing to live with 20 HP?
Yeah, because then it's like instead of using that flash to win something, I kind of use my
Yeah.
flash for something that doesn't matter.
Get the raid boss. Okay, I mean, here you end up like dodging it, but I still don't feel like I'm not... I want you to get much better at having like... I think also something you can work on in general is just clicking closer to your character. Like, I'd want to see you click here, click here, click here, to try to like bait out the Tahm Kench Q and dodge it. Because here you're just auto-attacking him, and then he's bad, so he Q's here instead of on top of your character.
Yeah, but like a good Tahm Kench would like see me wind up the auto and just
Yeah, and then click on you.
Okay.
And it's also, it's like you're not making it hard for him when you're not like baiting the juke to the left and the right, you know? Like if you watch like really good ADCs, they'll have really high APM and they'll dodge a lot, like even when they're not dodging, to try to like either bait out spells or just to make their movement like less predictable. Because that way it makes it way harder for the guy aiming skill shots when he sees that you're moving like crazy back and forth, you know? While if you're just moving in a straight line, it's like, okay, that's pretty easy to hit. I think you shouldn't hit this blue buff. I don't think you hit this blue buff. I want you to get this midwave faster. Like, a good habit to have is always to look at your own midwave on the minimap to know where the enemy midwave is. And I'd want you to always, if you can, get it like before... Like, I'd want you to be on the midwave now, you know, getting it here. And if you think that's too scary, that's fine. You can wait a bit more. But hitting this blue buff, it's like you do 200 damage to make yourself like 10 seconds late. You know, like this midwave should have been killed 10 seconds ago, and then you base, and then everything else happens much faster. Like you'd be on this midwave 10 seconds earlier, and everything would be just like that's how you get a really smooth game flow going. That you get every midwave high, and you feel like you have so much free time. While when you get every midwave too late, you feel like you're too late on the next midwave again, and too late on the next midwave, and it kind of snowballs. It can snowball in both directions.
Gotcha. Okay. And I felt that before as well. It's like, wow, the game's so easy when I'm catching every wave like so high.
Yeah.
It's just right there, like my choice to like, oh, my team's in their jungle. Maybe I'll be with them. It's okay to sack like a couple seconds of mid tempo. That's not worth it.
I think you need to look at like and think like what will happen here. Like if Jarvan is EQing on the blue buff and Gwen is on the Raptors, I think nothing is gonna happen. You know?
Yeah.
Like, even if Vel'Koz were to... Like, Vel'Koz kind of face checks, right? He used his spell to face check, but Jarvan's already used his EQ, so there's no threat, you know? Like I think
Uh,
just kind of for me, when I look at sequences or situations in my game, I try to think like what's the most likely outcome. And here, I think the most likely outcome, like, okay, Vel'Koz could literally just face check the bush and die. It could happen. But I think that's not that likely. And I think also if it does happen, I think Vel'Koz is dead regardless if you're there or not.
hmm
So if
Yeah,
Vel'Koz does face check the bush, I think he dies even if you're not there. And if he doesn't face check the bush, you being there does nothing. So
yeah,
those are like the two possibilities that I see. I don't see how your team would like die here or get collapsed on when Gwen is on Raptors and Tahm Kench is dead. So
hmm
there's no like safety that you need to provide them. There's no nothing, I feel like. So just
yeah,
being kind of realistic with yourself about that and trying to visualize or think about what can happen, I think can just expand your knowledge more to understanding when you should move. Because this can apply to like fights as well, right? If there's like a fight on top or in jungle or in river,
yeah,
you can choose to move to it or you can choose not to, and you need to evaluate that by, for me there's like two good rules. One of them is like, where's the fight moving? Like for example, here
hmm
in this blue buff fight, if the fight moves to this tower, I'm never going to join that. That's moving in the opposite direction of where I'm coming from. I want the
yeah,
fight to move to me or to stay at the same place. And if I see that the fight is moving like way away from me, probably I'm not going to move. Because
okay,
usually what happens is if the fight is moving away from you, it doesn't really make sense that you'd ever be able to join a fight that's moving away from you when you're the person that's like the latest to join, you know? It doesn't really
yeah,
add up unless you're playing a champion that's super fast, but we don't really have that as ADCs most of the time. Um, like maybe if you're playing Jin with the ulti, for example, you can make an argument for it. So most of the time, if the fight's moving away from me, I don't want to move. And also just like looking at champions and looking at what I think is going to happen. If I think this is either going to be a one shot where my team is going to get one shot and they just inted, or enemy just inted and they're just going to die, I don't want to move to that either. That's a waste of time. I can't save
yeah,
my team if they're fucking inting, and if enemy is inting, then I'd rather get a jungle camp or a mid wave rather than trying to like steal a kill from my team as they're killing him, or I don't know, just becomes a bit
yeah.
awkward.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because like when I moved to when I moved to their jungle with my team there, I'm
Mm,
not even thinking of like, okay, Jarvan Kaneki Vel'Koz. I'm just thinking, oh, this seems like a good idea to be with my team here. I'm
yeah.
not even thinking like specifically. It's the same thing with like those early bot skirmishes walking up to Vel'Koz. I'm
Mm,
like, oh, this seems like a good idea to set up my team. I'm not thinking, okay, if I walk here, I need to bait Vel'Koz like EQ
mm,
or like if I walk to my team in the jungle, I can
mm.
support if Jarvan EQs the Vel'Koz. I'm just thinking, oh, my team here, it's maybe a good idea. I'm not like
Yeah.
specific planning.
And I mean, you have good instincts, right? Like your instincts have gotten you Grandmaster so far. But I think a big thing about improving is that you can't kind of constantly question those instincts. But to question
Okay.
them, you need to make it really conscious. Because right now, probably
Mm,
all of your gameplay decisions are very subconscious, which
yeah.
is how it is at a high level. But we need to make some of them a bit more conscious again so that we can kind of change some of those assumptions that are leading us to not the best decisions every time, right? Like, for example, maybe probably an assumption that you have right now is if my jungler wants to gank, I'll just do whatever to play aggressive, you know? And
Mm,
that's something that's always worked, or not always worked, but it's worked out most times. So that's how you interact with every single situation. But to go a
mm,
step further, where the enemy is good at playing around ganks and they're good at playing the game in general, they will look to like take your HP bar and then run away from the gank. So if you play like that unintelligently and just walk at them when your jungler's close, it's not going to work, right? So a lot of these things we need to become aware of it and think about it so that we can come to a different conclusion and
mm.
improve kind of the idea that we have of it. Because
This is actually. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, you can talk.
I was gonna say this is actually pretty exciting for me to hear
Mm,
because I remember the first session we had like last year.
mm-hmm,
I wasn't even trading when my jungler was pathing bot. I was kind of just like playing my own game. Like, oh, my jungler is ganking now, whatever.
mm-hmm,
But it's like now that I'm doing those things we went over before subconsciously, like
mm-hmm,
that gives me some confidence in knowing that I can like
Yeah,
and kind of push that further, like you said.
yeah. It's all about like that's why it's so hard for me when someone asks me like, what's the difference between a master, grandmaster, challenger player, or what's the difference? Like, what do I need to do to improve? And it's like, well,
Yeah.
that depends on what your already like subconscious habits are, you know? Like, if
Hmm.
you, for example, before, I'd say you had the much bigger issue of not really playing weak side or strong side, which is like more of a fundamental understanding of if my jungler's bot side, he can help me. If he's top side, he can't. And, you know, vice versa for enemy jungler, right?
Uh,
But now we need to take it one step further, which is, okay, my jungler's bot side, how can I play this in the best way mechanically to always guarantee a good outcome? And if we can do that, then we end up having games where, like for example, this game, where we could have snowballed much harder, and every single time Jarvan was bot, if we are able to, for example, dodge the Vel'Koz E, which is in this game the only threat, but in many games it's going to be a different one. You know, if you're playing against Nautilus, it's his hook. If you're playing against Rel, it's her W or Q, right? And when we're starting to get really good at playing around those, you'll find that the advantages come much more naturally, and it becomes like so easy to kind of bait the enemy support, because usually they're the people with the threatening spells, to waste their
mhm.
spells on you and to generate a lot of pressure that way, and to make every situation into like a good situation. Optimistic flash that one.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was a little bit in over my head there, but yeah, that's all really like exciting for me to hear about. Like I want to jump into a game and like practice that.
Yeah, it's good to hear, man. I like this arrow on the Vel'Koz, nice. I mean, this was all good. You ran them down. I think here you make a
Yeah.
mistake of going too close to the Gwen. A good habit to have is if Gwen is not useless, you just try to bait out her W and then click to Narnia when she presses W. If she wants
Okay.
to run away in her W, you know, feel free, because you don't have any counterplay. Because if you do this, you always die. You always die. There's
Yeah,
just
pretty much
nothing you
like
can do. But if you were
yeah.
like really far back and she had to like if you were here right now, behind, all the way behind here, I think, or maybe more like here. I don't know if you could be all the way over here. Let's say you're here and you're clicking back already. If Gwen now goes on the Senna, then I think you can do something. But if you give the Gwen range to go on you because you want to hit her in the W and you want to walk up, it's GG.
Yeah. And I think my brain the energy goes from my brain to my hands for sure. Because in that fight, I'm like clicking to auto attack the Gwen. Because I'm
Mm,
thinking like, okay, W's gonna go up now. And
yeah.
it's just like stupid to think that way.
Mm. And it's just like with Gwen, we need to be mega patient because it's so
Yeah.
easy. It's so tempted to be like, if I just get to auto attack her, I can kill her. But if you walk anywhere close to her, it's just over.
Yeah.
But she's super cooldown reliant. Like she's mega OP with her W, but she's super useless without it. So if we are actually patient enough to just bait it out and then play, it's like so easy. But
Hmm.
for me, the cool thing about League is that most champions in League are kind of like this. That they have pretty blatant counterplay. Like for example, with the Gwen with the W, Darius and getting kited. Like for example, if you don't give Darius E range and you're spacing that really hard, he literally can't do anything. You know,
Yeah.
like if he doesn't have flash, if he has flash, then you need to be ready for the E flash. So for example, flash is a good example of an ability that can warp a lot of champions counterplay, and that it gives them more opportunities to make more things happen. But if we are thinking about how every champion kind of works in this way, that they have kind of one thing that we need to think about. For example, with Jin, it would be his W and ulti, right? So buying movement speed is good against him being fast and being willing to dodge all his spell and being ready to dodge all his spells. Makes him
Hmm.
really weak. With Yon, it's his Q3 and ult. And that Jarvan's fucking stupid.
Yeah, I was gonna say here's a good example of that is where I'm like playing
That,
around the Yone R.
yeah, I mean,
And I
this
get
is good. Like,
yeah.
here, your Jarvan is just dumb and he doesn't understand Yone champ. Like, even if Yone doesn't have ult here, if you're walking up to auto the Yone, he can Q3 you and nearly kill you.
Yeah.
So you need to play really safe, and you barely do any damage to him anyway, so it's not like you're ever going to kill him.
True.
But here, it's good that you kind of, like, accept your limits and the enemy champion is stronger. Like, that's a skill in and of itself as well, to be like, no, I actually can't do anything here, you know? I actually can't kill Dion here, even if my teammate wants me to. Because if you try when you know you can't, it's just, you're just gonna int.
Yeah, I think I need to get that consistency down, because if I'm playing the whole game with that mindset, it's like last fight, I didn't have that mindset, and I just autoed onto Gwen and like died for no reason.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like immediately, like what, 1 minute later, I'm like in a different mental space. I just need to kind of nail that down, I feel like.
Yeah. I think just reminding yourself of it. I think a nice little phrase I like to have is like, all I can do is all I can do. And just to think like, okay, you know, all I can do is all I can do. I can try to play my best. I can do what I think my champion is capable of doing. And that's all I can do. I can't make miracles happen, you know? I can't do 5,000 damage in 1 second. So if I need to do 5,000 damage to kill this guy, probably I won't kill this guy. For example, here, you'd need to do 5,000 damage to kill this Tom Kench. Probably can't do that. So probably shouldn't walk up here and die. So it's just about kind of being realistic with yourself and being like accepting of that truth that you find. Because League is a game where you need to always kind of know what you want to do and what you want the game to look like. And most of that is just happening at the subconscious level, and you can like feel it, you know? You feel if your jungler's doing something bad, you feel if your support's doing something bad, and you can feel it if the enemy's doing something bad or not. And an important part of that is that you need to trust it. If your gut instinct is telling you that this is bad, I've had this happen so many times. My gut instinct is telling me this is bad, but my support wants to do it, and then I do it, and then it's like, oh, would you look at that? My gut instinct was fucking right, and this was fucking bad. So it's a huge skill to be able to trust that gut instinct, because that's the instinct that you've built over so many games. And also in trusting that gut instinct, it's that's how you improve the gut instinct as well. Because by like leaning into it, and then let's say you trust it and you think this situation is really shit, and then it ends up being good, you can look at it after, or not even need to look at it, but just think about it after, being like, okay, why was I wrong? Why did that turn out being good when I thought it shouldn't have been good? Was it because somebody really misplayed and it was actually my gut instinct was correct? Or is it because I actually was wrong about something? Like sometimes a lot in League, you'll have a result that happens, but it's not a result that like should happen, you know? Like if enemy needs 2 auto attacks to kill you and you need 10 auto attacks to kill them, it's not realistic to think that you can ever win that 1v1 because they fail flashed over the wall and then missed all their spells and, you know, just like did the most horrendous misplay of all time, right? So if that happens, you shouldn't change your perception of the game from that. It's just that guy is a griefer. And the same thing with your teammates and the enemy team. But if you think about the situation and it's not just the result that was unrealistic, then you can actually make a change of your perception of the game. And that can be, for example, you're playing in a lane and you get Nautilus hooked, but it ends up that it's really good for you to get Nautilus hooked because you had such a huge minion wave that you win the 2v2, even when you get Nautilus hooked. While your perception before was that it's like always bad to get Nautilus hooked, for example.
Yeah, so that's a good opportunity to like question your instincts, kind of like you said before. Like a big focus should be like I'm playing instinctually, but I should be starting to question those instincts.
Yeah,
kind of. Okay, I
that's how
think
you
this is
grow.
actually a really Okay, so I'll focus on that. I think that's a really good segue to this game, because this game I felt like I was trusting my instincts, and it's a good game. But my goal for this one was like, okay, are my instincts limiting me? Like, is there more room for me to make plays and get leads, or like it? So this game is like a really good follow my instincts game, and I'm wanting to see like if there are times in here where I should be questioning those instincts.
Okay, so first thing I want to ask is like, do you have any thought process like before the lane of how you want things to go or things to look, or about jungle or anything?
So I have a lot of questions about this one as I'm going into the game, because Lucian Taric is one of my favorite lanes to play. I like stomp 2v2s with this lane all the time. But then a Draven Braum lane is one I haven't played this matchup before, and I'm like, okay, well this lane feels like it neutralizes us. So I'm going into this game thinking like, okay, how are 2v2 is gonna go? Do we have opportunities? And my main goal is like kind of just play slow and Q poke the Draven on his axis.
Yeah, I like it. I think that's good. One thing I would add is that there's like two big cooldowns for both sides. Your big
Yeah.
cooldown is Taric E, and your big cooldown is Braum Shield. I think if you get the Braum Shield, like let's say you do a short trade and you get the Braum Shield, I would start to think, okay, maybe we can all in here. That's when my like alarm bell would start to go off that an all in is possible. And for the other way around, if I'm playing the Draven side and the Taric wastes his stun, I would start to think, okay, can I run them down here? So
Uh-huh.
you can see how both sides have kind of clear win cons of how they want to like play the lane. And I like what you said about the short trades because I think that's really true. That like you don't want to like all in the Draven, you know? You want to get an auto Q, you want to get a Q just like this is perfect. So you can slowly chunk them down over time. One
Yeah,
thing I
I guess
would... No, you can go.
go ahead. Okay. Before we watch more of the lane, like my understanding of those two core cooldowns is like I feel like okay, if it's solo queue supports, I feel like 9 times out of 10, the Braum Shield is only going to come up as a response to a Teraki. Is that a
Mm-hmm.
correct assumption, or
Yeah. I
so?
mean, it's like it should most of the time, but if once you get them to half HP, like let's say the lane goes kind of fist fighty. I mean, actually, one thing that I didn't mention that I should have thought about is that you guys
Yeah.
have more sustain with Taric, so that's something you
Uh huh.
could think about more to take a bit more trades because you can heal up while they can't. But let's say, like hypothetically, the lane goes to half HP for all of you, and then you dash in, but you dash in a way where you can just like auto the Braum and then Q him and Draven can't do anything on you. Maybe the Braum will, for example, shield that. So stuff like that where it's like you're going for a short trade once both sides have gotten quite low. I'd say it's a high chance that the enemy support might choose to use their shield because they're scared that if they get to like if you're already 500 HP and you can trade on the Braum to make him 300 HP or 200 HP, maybe he will then decide to use his shield instead uh, of getting that chunked, you know?
That makes sense, and you answered my next question as well. Of like, yeah, so a way I can bait out that shield without necessarily stunning first is just whittling them down, and then
Yeah.
almost kind of like
Like you'd be looking for exactly like this, where you see the Draven is really far back and you can hit the Braum for free. Like let's say you guys were like
yeah,
level 3 right now and you were using all your spells on Braum, maybe he would probably shield or he would jump back. One of the two, right?
yeah. And so even if Braum decides to shield first in that situation, that's an example of like he's doing it instinctually, subconsciously, even though it may not be like the best thing, right?
Yeah. He's just thinking, okay, I'm gonna take damage. I want to avoid taking damage. And then how
Yeah,
you would like counterplay that isn't that you would immediately try to all in him, but you would like back off a bit as he Braum shields, right? Because he doesn't take any damage while he's Braum shielded pretty much. And then in the next like 10-15 second window, then you try to see if Draven missteps or Braum missteps, and then you try to punish it.
makes sense. Okay.
And something that I would also add is because your jungle is pathing top, that makes it a bit like more scary to trade. So it's
Yeah.
good that you like now, for example, if my fiddle was pathing bot, there might be cases where I would E in. Like if
Mhm.
if I think it's really good. But now it's gonna be very rare for me to E in here. Even though you have this vision in Tribush, it's just like it's too risky, you know?
Exactly.
So here you're kind of letting it push back into you because you're scared of getting ganked, right?
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah, we see
fair.
Elise River as well now.
Yeah, that's good. Does Tarek not have a ward? He does, but he didn't want to use it. That's kind of silly. Oh, but he wards there. But you guys see Elise on mid at least. But now the wave is built up. That's fine. Oh, I think the recording light. I don't think I light.
Like he was so good, I had to freeze frame on it.
Oh no, it was me who light actually.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah, this is really good. You guys are all ending with Fiddle coming, but your support goes too fast. I don't think you should dash like this. So now I think you have to barrier and flash. Yeah, I think don't dash
Yeah.
like this. Like I was thinking about it.
Okay.
Like I think you should just like keep range, you know? Like The Draven, if the Draven runs out, then you run down. If the Draven runs up, you click up. You just match his clicks, but you don't go like melee range like this. And also you don't want to like, because here I think you do a long dash.
I do, yeah.
And we should do a short dash, man.
Yeah.
Like I'd
I
want
think
you
I'm
to
letting
be,
myself be pressured, yeah.
yeah, I'd
Like,
want you to
I
be
feel like I
like,
have to do something now.
yeah, but you don't, you know? It's the Draven is the one who's fucked because he has no way of running out. So if you just stay here right now, and then if the Draven walks down, you match it and go down, and then you use your use short dash as a DPS tool once the Draven gets lower. It's just way better. And also, I mean, you don't need to flash and barrier.
Yeah, I think just panicked.
Yeah. Okay. So here is another example. Like, you don't actually need to now because you're not low enough to die to a Brown Q. But here I would always, I would go behind these minions and wait until the Brown Qs and then I dash forward.
Okay.
And I hope you spot the Elise that's on vision right now, but I don't think you will.
Ooh, I don't think I do. I don't think I do.
Yeah. And the Vladimir's coming as well.
Oh, if I remember
And
correctly, this is some crazy shit, actually. Hold up.
you guys outplayed this? Okay,
Let me
Elise
grab
is
your
inting.
popcorn. If I remember correctly.
I mean, Elise is inting already. I don't know why she's starting in spider form instead of human form. That's quite a bit of her. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Fiesta. Cancels like 2 autos as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think your biggest crime might be the fact that you didn't ward this bush. That might be your biggest crime.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think that's your biggest crime.
Mm.
Is it your biggest crime? I think it's your biggest crime. I mean, I think the dash is also a bit like I think you could do auto, W, auto, then dash, you know? Like, you don't need to dash quite this passively. I think it takes you could be a bit faster in recognizing how badly they played it. Like, here I'm already thinking, like, I'd be thinking, like, now, like, I would want to, ideally, in my opinion, I would want to dash away when the fear duration is, like, ending, you know? So I'd want to do auto, W, auto first.
That makes sense, but I'm just like...
Well, I think it's fine the way you played it as well. Like, it's not this nitpicky kinda. Because how they...
but that's good. I want to hear nitpicks, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, how they played it was criminal. But it's usually... I think here, actually, it didn't matter that much that you didn't ward. But it's a really, really good habit to make. Whenever you're fighting near bushes, ward the bush, ward the bush. There's so many... Especially also, if you can do it the other way around, that you can be the person that flashes into a bush or abuses the fact that, you know, how broken bushes can be, that can help you a lot as well. And I think if you do that, then it'll kind of create already the habit of you warding the bush because you understand how fucking broken it is.
Yeah.
Because there are so many 1v1s and 2v2s that are lost due to losing vision. Or one, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with the premise. Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of random. Oh, here, I feel like we're just mega autopilot, no? Like, what's this W? Why are we walking to
Brown Q? Caster. I think I was
Okay.
just trying to W the caster, and then I off slightly.
Yeah. I mean, it's stuff that doesn't, like... It's fine this game, but I worry that in other games it costs you something. Like, whether it's in a poke lane, or if you're playing against, like, a more scary support. It's like... In this case, they don't really have much poke, right? So it's fine that you took this chunk of like 100 damage. But if you're in a more pokey lane, like taking these Qs can really hurt.
Yeah. And I struggle the most into poke lanes for sure. So that makes a lot of sense actually that you bring that up.
Yeah. Like when you play against poke lanes, like even just this difference, like the difference between you being this HP and being the HP you are now, like being full HP and this HP, it's really, really big. Like, I don't know how to fully explain it because it doesn't seem that big, but probably you can tell and you felt it yourself that it does make a really big difference. Because, like, for example, now if you were full HP and Draven was this HP, you could generate you could just click forward in this lane and be like here and pressure him on these minions and just play behind the minions so you can't get bronqued. But when you're the same HP as him, it's more like, okay, can't really do much. So avoiding these chunks will add up to a really like different laning phase. And especially when you play against like double ranged, uh, like they have range supports and you have range supports as well, or they have range support and you have melee support.
Mm-hmm.
Avoiding these chunks are so important for that the lane can go well. Because if you have the melee support, then your kind of responsibility as the ADC is that you don't get chunked, so that they can eventually find and engage. Because if you both sides are full HP and you have melee, they have range, usually you win the all in.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And on the other hand, if you have the range support into range support, it's like usually the people that are getting the chunks are the one who's winning. So if you
Yeah.
get really good at avoiding getting chunked because you understand, like it comes a lot down to like the understanding and thinking about the enemy. Like if you're thinking about, okay, if I'm the Braum here, when do I want to queue? Probably when I want to CS, right? That's when Braum would want to queue. I like if he's smart. So
Mm-hmm.
when I'm looking to CS, I need to think a bit about juking the Braum queue. And it's not too advanced or complicated. It's just like that thought process needs to kind of start. And once it does, everything else makes it a lot easier. Because then when the Braum does waste his Q, you feel a sense of like, okay, I did what I needed to do. Well played. Like you get these kind
Okay.
of micro goals and micro victories.
Mm. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Because now we've gotten hit by like 3 Braum Qs.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's not anything, you know? It's just like we're not even thinking about dodging the Braum Q. We're just sitting here chilling. Oh, Space Nader. Oi!
Bad click. Yeah.
Bad click, bad click. I need to show that to Veigar. Okay, nice Q though. Let's try. So now something that I probably you're okay. Actually, I'm not gonna say anything. What are you thinking about right now?
I'm thinking about the fact that we're just slow pushing this wave, and I'm like, okay, if I let this slow push again, it's probably just gonna crash right in front of their tower and be really awkward. So I want
Mm-hmm.
to shove this, but I'm also like, damn, I want enough money for BF sword. You know?
Mm-hmm. I like both of those things, but that wasn't what I was thinking about.
Okay.
What I was thinking about is your XP. So I was
I
thinking like, okay, I'm close to getting level 6, so I'll have level 6 lead. So right now fighting can be really, really good. I don't know if this is a new patch, right? So this is not the biscuits that give mana.
Yeah, no mana. So
Okay.
that's why I was avoiding fighting. I'm like, I can't really do anything if I fight them right now.
Okay, I hate this W.
Yeah.
Even if you get the minion, you still need to push one more wave, right? Because you want BF sword. Or you don't push one more. You guys
I end up
base?
being stuck. Yeah.
Oh, you stay. Oh. I guess it's fine. Maybe push one more. I don't know what happened with the quality, but I,
Yeah, I don't know.
let's see here. Let me think again. I think it's okay, but it's kind of weird because it's like you guys are advantageous and you have the push. For me, the weird part is maybe just like, why do we even push this? You know, just like can't we just continue slow pushing here?
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know what my thought process is in this game.
Because I like that you're looking for Qs. But by looking for Qs, you push it really fast. And then by this W, I would always think that you're going to base right after this. Like, there's no way
Yeah.
you use this W if you're not going to base. Because
Mm-hmm.
even if you do stay, I think using this W is bad. Okay, you do actually have a plant, but you don't take it. Okay. I guess you would be maybe a bit late on the wave.
I don't know why I didn't take it.
I think you didn't see
Kind
it.
of surprised. I swear I
You were
did.
just
Then
thinking
again,
about warding, I think.
I think so.
'Cause now we got to push this wave with no mana. Oof. Auto.
Yeah.
Move. Yeah. Ooh. That's pretty painful, but the end result is fine, so I respect it. I think the way you got there was a bit clunky. I think something you could think about, like it's already 7 minutes now. You could just
Yeah.
go look for the plant now, you know? The
Mm-hmm.
plant spawns at like 6:05 to 6:15 or something like that. So now is a good time to look for a plant. And then you ping your
Yeah.
Taric to stay, And if you get plant here, so you're full HP and like 1/3 mana, I think you guys can keep bullying them.
Okay.
I don't think you guys need to recall. Like, the only thing that's holding you back is your mana, but if the plant solves your mana issues, why would we recall? You have 2 wards, so you can ward for Elise, so you don't need to worry about that. And I think it's kind of illegal that Braum and Draven get the recall here on their half HP and losing trades. But the end result still you get BF sword, so I don't mind it. Let's see how the fights continue. Wait, Tarek died?
Bit unlucky.
Oh my god, I hate supports. The most annoying thing about playing against Draven is when your support is noob and gives him kills, and then it gives him 5,000 gold because he's Draven.
Yep. Normal occurrence.
Yeah. Okay, so we just see us under tower. I think you could look to cancel the Draven here with W, and it's not bad.
Okay.
I don't know if you were, like, were you thinking about it? Were you thinking, like, it's not worth to cancel him?
I was thinking about it, and then I was like, you know what? Let's just get this wave in. So I don't know why I didn't, but
I mean, for me, I'd be thinking, so, like, okay, so this Draven just got a plate. He just crashed, like, 2 waves. He just killed my Tarek. He's probably sitting on a lot of gold, so it's probably better if I can keep him here, you know, and not let him base. Like, if he's probably sitting on, like, what, more than 1,000 for sure. So I think just in general, when they have a lot of gold, it's good to keep them here so they can't spend it. Like, probably he's gonna come back with BT now. See, yeah, now he has BT, right? And if you canceled him, he would have BF Sword and Vamp, which would mean that it's like same items as you, while now he's like kind of considerably stronger, right?
I think part of my thought process, kind of like you mentioned, you had a bit of a mantra before. Oh, hold up.
You can go.
So like your mantra of like all I can do is all I can do. I think I was saying to myself in that situation, like I don't have to do anything because I'm looking at the scoreboard. Fiddle's like 5-0. I'm like, I should only do stuff if Fiddle's around. It's like my thought process. So I'm like, Fiddle's not here. I'll just chill.
Yeah, but do you think that applies here? I mean, I'd agree if it was like
I don't think
fighting the
so.
Draven, but throwing a W to cancel him, I don't know, like.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that also means that if you cancel him here, maybe that means you can get him to actually lane with you until Fiddle can be here. While if you let him base, then like now he comes back and now Fiddle is going to be around both sides, right? But now he has his item. While if you made him now lane with you until Fiddle was bot side and you guys were same item, the 3v3 would be way better, right?
Yeah,
but now the 3v3 is like really hard.
Yeah. And that's what I meant at the beginning of the game too, is like my instinct there was like, nah, just chill. Whereas like, you know, if I challenge that, I have more opportunities. Yeah.
For me, the question I'd ask is like, when it comes to canceling people, the thing is like, I would ask 2 things. Easy rules to have. First is, do I lose something for canceling him? If you have to run like really far and lose a lot of minions, usually not worth, right? In this case, he's recalling on vision, close enough to you that you can W. You can even like dash W and you don't lose any minions, right? Like you would dash here and then W over the wall. So that's already solved. We don't lose anything. And the second question is, if I let him recall and then hard push, does he lose a lot? In this case, it's no, because we need to push one more wave. Like, we need to push this wave that if we just could push, if we could crash this wave right now, kill all these 6 minions, and then get a plate, okay, I'd say that's alright. You could still argue that it's better to cancel him, but it's close. But at the end of the day, Draven got the recall off, and he lost, I think, 4 minions. I'd say, okay, he loses 5, I think. He loses 5 minions. So I'd say that's Draven's pretty fine with that. I'd say Draven's pretty fine with that. So then I'd think it's more worth to cancel him. But in this case, it's pretty close. But I think the third thing that you can think about is like how important is the recall. If the Draven is recalling for a cull or a longsword here, it's like, fuck it, I'll let him recall. But when I think about the fact, okay, the context of everything that's happened, he's killed my support, he's gotten a plate, he's gotten 2 waves, so he has a lot of gold. And then when I put all of those two together, I would think to myself, yeah, it's worth the canceling. But all of those like thought processes, they aren't really happening that consciously in the game. It's just that I'm seeing what's happening and my brain is kind of interpreting for me, and that's the judgment that I make. And in this case, I think it's kind of close, so I don't mind that much what you did. But it's good to, as you said, kind of revisit it and question it again here and there, and maybe introduce things that you weren't thinking that much about before. Like maybe you were only thinking about, can I deny Draven a wave? Can I get a plate? And you weren't thinking about the context of the fact that Draven has got a kill, so he cashed out and he got a lot of gold from that, which means canceling him has more value, right? Because the more gold they have, the more value it is to not let them recall and spend it.
Yeah, I appreciate you like explaining that thought process to me, because I don't even think like in the game here, I'm not even thinking about the context of stopping the recall. I'm just thinking of stop recall equals good or bad. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that, I think that's fine, but you need to like, I think that's fine, like, because that's the judgment we need to make in game, right? To stop recall good or bad. But
Yeah.
we need to have a good like reasoning for it, and as long as you have that reasoning in place, that reasoning can improve and get better over time. But a lot of the times, what people will have is that maybe they're missing some pieces to the puzzle. So they'll think a recall is good or bad only depending on how much gold they have. If they know the Draven has a lot of gold, they'll try to cancel it no matter what. Like even if the Draven was recalling, close to his tower, they would fucking walk up and try to cancel him. And I'm like, bro, you can't do that. That's too much. We need to factor that into our equation as well, because if we do that, you'll find that your judgment will just get better and better, and every time you make a wrong judgment as well, like you'll still have that feeling of it's just good or bad, and it'll happen subconsciously. But after the game, or even during the game, you can revisit that judgment and think to yourself, maybe that wasn't right. Probably not do it during the game because you want to focus on the game and not get too distracted. But after the game, I think it's good to kind of have these like for example, me, I don't watch my games much. I don't like to rewatch them that much because I feel like you're kind of predisposed to only pointing out the mistakes that you already know, and you only have the answers that you already have. But what I do like is I think a bit about my games. Like I think about, okay, so what actually went wrong that game? What could I have done better that game? And like why did things happen in the way that they did? What did I do that like I thought was good but wasn't good? Or maybe there were things that I knew was bad and I still did it, and why the fuck did I do that? So in this game, if I was you, for example, I would think a little bit about the first gank where I used both my sums. And like that felt kind of cringe. Like that felt wrong. I shouldn't have to use both my sums. I think the Draven was dead there no matter what. So, and then I would kind of extrapolate that into thinking, okay, so because I used both sums there, probably that meant that the laning phase was affected after that, and maybe I missed opportunities to punish this bot lane harder if I had both my sums after that. Like, for example, imagine when you were about to hit level 6 and we were low mana. If you then go for the plant and you have both your sums, maybe that's actually a kill opportunity for you on the Draven. Okay. So, I think one of the reasons why I'm able to improve a lot is because I'm able to take a lot of responsibility, because I understand that my actions have like a sort of butterfly effect. Like, if you make a mistake at minute 1, that mistake can impact what happens at minute 20, because if somebody starts with a kill, their whole game is going to look completely different, Like every fight after that is going to be affected by what happened earlier. In a game such as League, that's all about like snowballing and progressing. And I think that allows you to like be more critical of yourself while also understanding how much impact you have and allowing for an easier time to reflect on your games. Because it can be really easy when you reflect on your games. Like in a game like this, I really don't want the takeaway to be like, okay, I was just chilling, I couldn't really do much, and all that stuff, Because like, while that can technically be true, like, yeah, you were just chilling, low mana, and pushing waves, and you were 0-0 at 12 minutes, right? That isn't really what we need to take out of the game to improve from it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too. And with the review process as well, I definitely don't like watching my own VODs either, but I feel like it's something I should do more. Like I reflect on the games on my own, but I feel like I don't have the what's the word for it? Like I don't have the insight to just be able to pick out like, okay, yeah, using my sums there was kind of bad. Like that didn't even come to mind when I was thinking about this game afterwards.
Yeah.
So I think I do need to like dive into actual VODs and like
Mm.
spend more time ironing out before I can
Yeah.
like reflect a little more independently.
Yeah. Okay. This whole I don't know what happened here, but you came back to lane and you were angry.
Yeah,
Like I don't
Fiddle's
understand.
pathing bots.
Yeah, Fiddle is pathing bot, but Fiddle is not bot. This is like this makes me think that if I'm the Draven, I'm thinking Fiddle's in here. Like what the fuck?
Uh,
You know, like what are you? What's this ulti? And then after this, okay, it's like okay, Fiddle's coming. It's good that you dashed the Braum Q. But we need to be patient with this. We can't just like fucking go.
mhm.
Like how shit is this? So now we've wasted our ult, we've wasted our flash, and now we're gonna get rewarded for it. Well played.
I was gonna say like into good players, it probably doesn't work this way, right? And I still die, but
Yeah, you could have lived here if you did a little bush abuse, but you made the mistake. You dashed into the bush, which was good, but then you autoed from the bush. If you don't auto from the bush now, the Draven can't auto attack you until he puts a ward.
okay,
And he failed the ward, so he wouldn't have killed you.
I see. It's just a little more patience.
Yeah, but whenever you fight in bushes, you want to try to get really good at like going out of the bush, auto attacking, and then going back into the bush, and never try to
Mhm.
always like make this an iron rule in your mind. Never auto attack from bush. Never auto attack from bush. Or at least attempt to. Of course, exceptions. There are exceptions, but that should be the rule that you have. But here, like for me, this is like a perfect example of where the result is good, but there's no way this is good gameplay. Like the thing is, if you just show
Yeah,
someone what happened in the last 30 seconds, there's nobody that would say that this is good. But then you show them the result at the end of it, and they'll be like, "Oh, 2 kills." But if enemy
yeah,
Braum doesn't decide, like, because the thing is, the easiest way to think about this is that if the enemy is smart, they should know that you're baiting. Like,
yeah.
it's so
Like it's way too
obvious.
obvious at this point. Yeah,
There's no way you guys win the 2v2 and you're dashing forward, flashing, you know? Like, there's just no way. Uh, and then if they call, like, they call your bluff and they just back off after having chunked you, what does Fiddle do? He just sits there, and then when Fiddle eventually has to leave, which he does, right? He can't sit there all game. Then your lane is just fucked because now you have no sums, you're half HP,
hmm
and maybe they even wait for Elise to be there, and then you just get dove, you know?
yeah,
So I like the fact that you know that Fiddle is coming back and you play aggressive, but we need to actually like wait for an opportunity to arrive, you know, and then capitalize on that opportunity. Like if Braum wastes his Q, then we can think about dashing in. If Draven is like last hitting the minions, then we can look to short trade on Draven, like you said, you know, like it's still, our gameplay still looks the same. Just because our jungler is bot side doesn't mean we can like ignore all rules of League and just fucking flash dash in ult on Braum shield, you know?
yeah. And this is really useful too because I'm in my head too with these two games. I'm like, okay, these are completely different games. But
Mhm.
then when we dive into it, it's like, no, I'm doing the same shit. Like
Yeah.
I'm just dashing into like, or I'm like autoing on Ashe, I'm dashing in on Lucian, not thinking like, okay, let's bait this out and then let's go. Or it's like same thing. My Jarvan's walking bot. Let's walk up and fight. It's like, oh, Fiddle's walking bot. Let's just fucking go.
I,
So it's
I mean,
again like the
yeah.
same aggression. I just need to like
I mean, I like the
clean it
fact
up
that
quite a
you
bit.
you understand that if your jungler is both side, trading is good, but you've taken it like too literally. I feel like, whereas you're just like,
Yeah.
okay, my jungler paint on his way. Let's see what we can make happen here. Anything is good. I think if you develop a bit more like patience towards it, and also thinking about
hmm
like just keeping the like you already had a good idea of how this lane should go, and just because Fiddle, unless Fiddle is literally there already ulting you or like ulting on them, yes, then it's a different situation. But if he's looking for a gank, you still need to abide by those kind of the fundamentals of how you think the matchup should go, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think for me, like, I definitely take it as I was trying to implement this in my gameplay. I did take it to the extreme for sure, and I am taking it to the extreme of like, yeah, I do throw the matchup out the window, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, jungle bot equals good. Nothing else
Yeah.
matters. Let's go. So yeah, I think I'm happy with like starting at that extreme for learning and then having to tone it back rather than having to like slowly build up that aggression or
Yeah.
like yeah.
What happened here?
I think I just fucked up. I think I was a little stupid and I let myself get Brom queued again. Bad habit.
I mean, I think you didn't see the Braum, maybe? Because I feel like if you see the Braum, you should know here that you have to back off. I think also,
Yeah, I mean,
like here, I think you should already decide to dash in here if you want to dash in, to be honest.
yeah,
And if you're not going to dash in, then just don't do anything here. Because now it's like, this is so awkward. It's also super bad to trade like this when he has BT. Because if you get him to 300 HP, like, yes, Taric can kind of heal, or not to 300 HP. You take 300 of his HP. Yes, Taric can kind of heal you back up, but it's much slower, while Draven needs like 2 auto attacks and he's back to full HP, you know?
yeah. I think I don't dash because I'm waiting for the Braum stun or the Taric stun.
Yeah.
But in that situation, like I should just be like, okay, this is the window for Taric stun. Didn't work. I'm backing up.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
I like the fact that you're looking for something before Braum is here, but it's kind of like, okay, so our window is right now. If we don't find something right now, okay, Braum is already nearly here. Back off, you know, we didn't find anything. I don't want to dash in anymore now. This looks
yeah.
kind of bad.
Okay.
Okay, Draven goes mid, you keep pushing bot, you guys go for Drake. Oh, wait. Fight happening. Okay, nice short dash. Not so nice ult.
Yeah, a little messy.
Messi and I ain't talking football, huh? Come on, you're American. Soccer.
Ah, I'm European. It's all good.
You're European?
Yeah, I live in America, but I grew up in Belgium.
Oh. What do you
So,
prefer, Belgium or America?
uh, I mean, I didn't live that long in Belgium. Like, I just lived there like as a kid for like a year or two.
Oh,
Then
okay.
I've basically grown up in America.
So you're fake European.
So I'm fake European. Yeah, I mean, I've got
Okay.
the citizenship, but it's like,
But do you speak, it's French, no? That most...
only a little bit. I can understand a lot, but when it comes to speaking, I'm a bit lost.
Okay, okay.
I'm more so hoping that I have more EU gameplay than NA gameplay. With the
Did
EU
you see
team.
NA today in Plains?
Oh, fuck, man, yeah.
Oof.
Crazy.
It's a comedy show. What are we moving for here? Oh, for the Elise. Yeah, okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, so far there's not much. You see how we're doing it again? We see the
Yeah.
fiddlesticks and we're like, okay, okay, I'll bait it. And then
Yeah.
this time the enemy is smart because they understand that if the Lucian, like, because the thing is, you're doing the opposite of what you should do. If you want to
Uh-huh.
bait the enemy in, you should click up here and give them a lot of space to play. Because if they're smart and they see the Lucian that is obviously weaker 2v2 is walking
Uh-huh.
up to get Braum queued, probably he has people behind him, you know? While on the other hand, if the enemy is seeing you click really far back, like you're clicking here, you're super scared, maybe the Draven will be like, oh shit, I don't even be scared of anything. And then he actually clicks
Mm-hmm.
up.
I see.
And like your level of bait, it'll work like maybe like I think Diamond Master, but I refuse. Maybe Grandmaster NA, but no way Challenger. There's no way Challenger players will fall for that type of bait where you just like walk
Yeah.
forward and you pretend you're an idiot.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But your team is kind of stomping.
Yeah. Got pretty lucky here.
Navori second, you like that?
I'm just yeah, this is again like new patch. I'm like fucking IE so trash right now. Let's just try
This sounds like no damage, but
Yeah, it kind of shows no damages.
Yeah, it wasn't much damage there on the Elise.
Yeah, would you suggest IE second?
I think so, no? I don't know. This just looks like no damage. I don't know what you
Yeah,
could... Like, I think it has to be... Like, IE got nerfed, yes, but it's still, like... It's a good crit item.
yeah,
And I think it's really nerfed as a first item because it's so expensive. As a second and third item, I think it's still pretty good.
okay.
And I think also in when you play champs like Lucian in a lot of games, it can be fun to like skip seal item and you just go Essence River IE LDR. It's like
Mm-hmm.
in this game, I think it's okay to have a seal item because you can kind of auto attack. But in some games where they're kind of squishy, maybe you don't really care about having Navori or having rapid fire and you just want raw AD for your ult and your burst.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Also, how good do you think Lucian is right now?
I think with Lucian, Milio Lucian Nami, it's not that bad, but I haven't had too much success this so far this split on my Lucian games.
Yeah, I think it's good with Nami Milo as well and Braum. Maybe it's I
Mm-hmm.
guess it's okay with Tarek as well, but with like random like Leon and Nautilus Rakan, I think it's pretty useless.
Yeah, I hard agree.
You go
I
LDR
also
third?
think I think I end up, yeah, because I'm still like, let's just try building shit that isn't IE because this is like literally first day of new split.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Well, IE is not like all the items are nerfed nearly the same amount as IE.
exactly. Like I've come
So
around.
yeah,
Like I was
good.
just too
I
biased here.
just making sure. I hope
Yeah,
I don't
I'm a
see
little
you.
also. Yeah, I think I'm too inclined to Navori on Lucian too. Like I
Mm,
just love like having perma E uptime.
mm.
Uh, so a lot of times it's like, well, don't have enough for BF sword. I'll just go Navori.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, Eon Lucian is nice, but in a lot of games, the problem with Lucian isn't whether or not you have E, it's whether or not you can like auto attack because you're such a low range ADC. And in those games, I feel like just having the AD so that when you do get to auto attack, you can actually burst people is more
Hmm.
important. Because now your ult, for example, is just tickle. You know, there's the tickle machine on the Draven Braum.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to buy time for my Tristana to get top with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's think here. Did you buy time? So the Draven's clearing the wave.
Well, yeah.
He continues clearing the wave. I mean, Braum went to WE, but he could have went top anyways.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's not super reliable, but it's like, hey, I kept Rom here, so that's good.
Yeah. Okay, so you take the mid wave, then you rotate the top. You take the top wave, nice. I think not basing here and running on the Elise probably
Okay.
makes more sense. I don't really like the base when my team is like TPing back on the map and looking to play the game. Especially when
Gotcha.
you're like when you're the weakest member, you basing for an item when your team wants to fight doesn't really make sense. Like just the concept of it. It's like if I'm the weakest member, I feel like I should be more inclined to follow what my team wants to do.
Okay, and that's more context I don't think about in the moment either. Because for me, I'm looking and I'm like, okay, Draven's top, two are dead. My team is 4 versus 2 on that dragon. Like, I don't need to be there. I'm safe to buy.
Yeah, I don't think
But
you
in the
need to be
case where I'm
there.
like a weak, and where I'm the weakest member of the team, like it makes
Yeah.
sense that basing for an item is far less valuable in this context.
Yeah, but I don't think you need to be there. I'm just thinking maybe you can get a free kill on Elise. And I'm also thinking like
Okay.
so one, I think you can get a free kill on Elise, and two, it's like okay, so we base for this, but let's think here. So we base for Last Whisper and Executioners, right? But what that actually means is that in 900 gold, we want to base again, kind of, right? When
Mm-hmm.
we get enough to complete the item, because these components kind of suck versus the completed item, right?
Yeah.
So what you can think of instead is like instead of buying these components that don't make that much of a difference, maybe I can just stay all the way till I have Mortal Reminder. Like, even if you didn't want to move on the Elise here, maybe it's actually better to do Wolves and Gromp, and then go for next midwave, you know? Because that way,
Yeah.
you can also just sync your recall with your teammates. Like, okay, they actually end up fighting instead of recalling, right? But it would be more like you farm for another 1k gold, and then
Mm-hmm.
that should be the kind of the timing that your Fiddle does his camps and wants to recall, Nar pushes out top and wants to recall. Um, but instead, it ends up being a bit of a fist fight. But in general, like for me, after 2 items, you typically only want to base. A good rule to have is like try to base when your teammates want to base. So if you see them all recalling, you recall. And second of all, when you have a completed item, because buying components is pretty useless after like second, especially after third item, but after second item as well. And the biggest example of this is like the Lord Dominic's or Mortal Reminder item with how shitty those components are.
Yeah.
So, for example, I would only base to buy components on those items if my team was all basing, and I either had to base because I'm low HP or low mana. Of course, in that case, you have to base, or if there was like nothing of jungle camps to take. So I have nothing to do on the map, might as well just base, you know?
Okay, so let's say instead I'm like 10-1, I'm the fucking carry.
Mm-hmm.
With this map state right now, do I take the reset or do I move for my team?
I think you go farm wolves or move to Elise. I don't think you base. I think in general here you never base. Because the thing is, you're just like, okay, so what are we basing for? Let's think here. We get Last Whisper, which is 20 AD, so that's 0 AD and 18% armor pen. And then we get Executioner's Calling, which is 15 AD. So we base for 15 AD and 18% armor pen. That is such like a marginal gain in power, you know? Like if we completed Mortal Reminder, okay, I'd be like, yeah, that's a pretty big spike, worth basing for. If we complete Infinity Edge, huge spike, worth basing for. Well, in general, completing items, huge spike. If you can buy BF Sword and Pickaxe together, that's a lot of AD. Usually worth basing for. But if you're full HP, full mana, and you can just buy like, you know, like essentially what you bought is like 2 longswords worth of damage, you know?
Yeah.
Not fucking worth.
Okay.
Let's see how this fight goes. Let's see how you play it. Okay. Nice. Good. Good respect on the Vladimir. Was a bit scared you would tunnel vision on the Renekton. Not the highest damage ult I've ever seen. Maybe not the highest damage Lucian I've ever seen, to be honest. Oh, Ticklenator.
The Vori's second angle, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also confused here because, like, I'm looking at my fiddlesticks. I'm like, yeah, Fiddle's here. Like, Fiddle's gonna help me with this shit. I mean, he used all his cooldowns. He walks away.
I mean, your
I'm
spacing
like,
here goes...
like tunnels.
I mean, your spacing goes from being good, but then you lose it. I don't know why you lose it. Like, okay, now... What the fuck is this click? Why aren't you clicking just back? You can just not give Renekton range here, and you would go fully... You would stay full HP. Like, what is this dash? Just dash backwards. Or even we can dash even here if we want. But we need to dash away from the Renekton, because there's no way you're telling me that 100 HP Renekton is going to be able to stun us. Oi, oi, oi. And we even barrier before the stun, so he breaks the barrier.
Yeah.
Because you should never die here. The only reason you die is because you give Renekton stun range. But that's what I mean, like, for example, when we're talking about Darius, right? The only way Darius can do anything is if you give him E range. It's the same with Renekton. The only way Renekton can do anything is if you give him W range. So, if we're actually just like we're respecting that, we respect it until Renekton dies. Even at 100 HP, I'm not giving Renekton range to flash W on my face. Because that's the only thing he can do. And I don't want to let him do the only thing he can do. And... So if the Renekton is like able to get onto you, I want to see him use E, I want to see him use Flash. I don't want to see him walk. If I see him walk Wing your head in, something's really wrong.
I see. So I think for me, like, my spacing in this fight is like, because I don't have that foresight or that mindfulness of like, okay, this is Renekton's condition. And I'm also like thinking my team has the damage. I'm like, okay, Renekton's gonna die before he has a chance to do those things, so I'm willing to like dash in range of him and stuff like that. But it's like I don't have the foresight to see my fiddle already blew everything and is walking away.
But I don't think you need to like. I think you just need to ask yourself like, what does it gain versus lose? You know, like if you're perma playing max range on the Renekton, you lose nothing, and you gain Renekton kill. If you don't play max range, you gain Renekton kill, but you risk more. Same reward, more risk. You know, why would we do that? As ADC, why would we ever choose to not play max range?
Okay.
Like, it doesn't really make sense because our champions, inherently, one of their advantages is that we have longer range than most champions. So, and we don't lose anything from abusing it. You know, it's not like our autos do more damage if we're melee range. Well, that would be a fun ADC champ. But we can always, like, it's usually always going to be better to space max range, even if you think it's like overkill, even if it's like a little bit on the safer side. Because like, why would we not be on the safer side rather than the riskier side? Like for me, I like to view League as like risk versus reward a lot of the time. And if you're telling me I can get the same reward for more risk, it's like, why the fuck would I want to do that?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Because even thinking back on that fight, like I lose. There's no risk, there's no pressure, but I like let myself feel pressured. Like I have to kill this guy right now.
Yeah, like there's no urgency in killing him right now. And it's like even if you kite back and you play max range, you're still gonna be auto attacking him nearly the same amount. Maybe you miss, like hypothetically, you miss one auto attack. Okay, so he dies one auto attack later. No biggie, you know. That's worth that you don't get stunned for. It's always worth to lose a bit of DPS to not get CC'd. Always, always.
Okay.
Because anyways, if you get CC'd, I mean, either CC usually means death, and if it doesn't mean death, that means DPS loss. So it's like, what would you rather have? You cancel an auto attack or you get stunned for 1 second? Okay, we're doing a bit of sheezing. Fiddle with the flankinator. Our next midwave is coming. I think you tunnel a bit too much on midwave here, and you can like start to walk here, like around. I think it's fine what you end up doing as well, though. Like if I saw you walking here now, I would be scared. So it's very good that you are like respecting, but it does kind of end up you're kind of zoning yourself from the fight until you know the Vladimir and Renekton goes in. While if you're with your team more, you can help them with ulti, and you don't really need to wait for Vladimir and Renekton in the same way. Oh, Monka. This Draven is a pussy. Oh my god, this Draven is so bad.
Yeah.
He crit you for 700. He should. Like, he should walk forward here, I think. I don't know why he walks so far back. But his auto and fiddle also did no damage. It's kind of weird. Well, anyways, I like the patience you played with here. This was much better. Good ulti on the Braum. Could have dodged the wrong Q, but it's all good. Yeah, I think this was much better. This was much better. Like the like how you approach the fight, it's like it's nitpicky, and I'm not 100% sure which is best, because you can make the argument that if you approach from the side that I said you to go to, then you're kind of clumping up to give Vladimir a better like flash in angle with ulti, right? So maybe it's better to split off a bit. So I don't mind that too much, whichever decision you make there. But it's really good that you're just playing way more back and like respecting their threats. And then once they've used the threats, you understand, okay, now I don't need to be scared, I go in. Oh my god, you're going no IE build?
Yep. IE hater day one for sure, but I don't think I do this. I don't think I would do this anymore.
No, that's good. Don't do this.
Yeah.
280 at 30 minutes. God damn. Shit, Blue Trinket Nation. Is this sold for you guys? Oh wait, this is a GG for you guys. Oh, this is good actually. You find a good ulti on the Vlad. I mean, this initial position is a bit scuffed, but still really good.
Yeah.
I think here, if you are really good, your dash is not going here, but you're going here instead, looking to chunk the Vladimir even more. Because you should think like, okay, like you could move your camera quite a bit faster. Like your camera movement is quite slow. Like I think now, this is good, because you want to like see the people you're hitting. But now I'd want you to move the camera down, you know, like what's happening over here. Like I still don't know what's happening over here. Now I know what's happening over here. And you're kind of dashing in as you know. So if you get your camera control a bit better, that helps you make a bit better decisions, because, you know, more info usually makes for better decisions always.
Yeah, and I don't want to scapegoat like earlier misplays on, oh yeah, I'm just not moving like my camera fast enough.
Yeah.
But that makes sense too for like the earlier fight where I'm like, oh yeah, Fiddle's here, he's with me, and then I like
oh yeah,
I kill the Renekton with Fiddle damage and he's not part of the fight.
Yeah. I mean, camera control is like, that one is just a lot of practice, and I mean, your camera also looks very slow. I don't know what speed you play with, but I play with 75.
Okay.
Actually, no, it doesn't look that
I'll
slow.
look into that. I was
Looks
gonna
kind
say
of
it's like
fast.
the actual speed. I think I turned up a while back, but I just think maybe I'm not like
I thought the
moving my
camera speed
mouse
was
as I
slow,
should
but I think
be.
you were just barely moving your mouse. Like you're just moving it a tiny bit, you know?
Yeah, it's like for some reason rather than move my camera down, I've moved my mouse back up to like click the same place I'm moving for a second time. It's just
Also, a good, like a nice habit that a lot of people like is to use space a lot to recenter the camera.
uh yeah, I do that.
Um, that can help as well. And then you can also like make more like drastic movements in moving the camera because you can easily recenter it back on yourself, you know? To like get a quick overview of the fight.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
I
yeah.
think the biggest things that I feel like I saw is just like I think you need to try to create more in-depth thought processes in game of like
Hmm.
following your teammates, thinking about how the enemy wants to play, analyzing threats a bit more. It looked like you were quite a bit better at doing it in team fights, especially in that Lucian game.
Hmm.
So you do have that skill and ability, but we need to use that for laning phase as well, and we need to use it for ganks. And understanding that to set up a good gank, it's not just about going in. Sometimes it's going to be about
Yeah.
clicking back to bait them forward. Sometimes it's going to be about playing the 2v2 well to set up for, you know, either a dive or a 3v3 or anything, right?
Hmm.
But just going in when jungler's close, that's not going to cut it anymore. We need
Okay.
to level up.
Cool. Some really good takeaways as well. I appreciate you talking to me as well about more like bigger picture ideas than just focusing on the game too. So thanks for putting in that effort for me. I appreciate it, and I'm excited to try some of these things in game for sure,
Yeah,
and try to shift some thoughts.
I'm glad to hear it, man. It was fun.
Yeah. Well, hey, I appreciate it. Work hard on my goal here, and honestly, if it takes me fucking 2 years to hit 1 KLP, whatever, I'll come back for another session then.
Bro, you got it. You got it. I'll see you then.
Okay. Yeah. Have a good one.
Have a good one, man. Bye bye. That was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Leave a like if he lets me publish this. I'll ask him now. Holy shit, that was nearly 2 hours. Yeah. Go join my Discord and DM me if you're interested in coaching. I love doing it, and it's a lot of fun. So, thank you for watching. Bye bye.